Hello everyone, my name is Artem Medvedev. You're listening to News on News on Leduc Radio. First of all, I would like to remind you that the Southwest Edmonton Federal and Provincial NDP annual general meetings are coming up on October 6th at 7 p.m. at Southminster Steinhauer United Church. These will be the AGMs for Edmonton Leduc Federal NDP and the Edmonton Whitemud and Edmonton Rutherford Provincial NDP. October 6, 7 p.m., Southminster Steinhauer United Church. You don't have to be an NDP member to attend, so if you're interested in finding out what the Southwest Edmonton Social Democrats are up to these days, please come and join us. We'll have a guest speaker, Elizabeth Bellerman, from the Health Sciences Association of Alberta. I would like to start with a number. Apparently, the cost of one of the conservative crime bills that was introduced last year, for just 1 year, the cost is $458 million. $458 million is $300 million higher than initially estimated by the conservative government. So, a lot higher, basically. And as the omnibus crime bill introduced by the Conservative Party is now being pushed through without much debate, there is again this divisive rhetoric. If you are not for this bill, then you are not supporting victims of crime. This is basically what the Justice Minister Rob Nicholson has said repeatedly in the House of Commons in the past couple of days. And while this kind of discourse is certainly destructive for our democracy as it is, the very reasoning as to why this huge bill is being pushed through without debate in the House of Commons is absurd. This is simply because one of the Conservative campaign promises was to pass something like this bill within 100 days of Parliament session. You know, if only one of the Conservative campaign promises were to be transparent and open and not harming our democracy. Instead, what we have is the what Canadians want approach. Apparently, Stephen Harper and his party now know better than Canadians as to what Canadians want and need. And, you know, looking into the future, into more years of Conservative majority, we can only think as to what the Conservatives will want Canadians to want and what they will say Canadians expect from their government in the future. Such statements rarely have anything to do with actual public opinion. But public opinion does not seem to matter too much to the Conservatives, does it? Just recently there was news that the NDP official opposition has forwarded a large dossier on Tony Clement and his misappropriation of G8 funds. This was forwarded to the RCMP. There is a huge number of very, I would say, incriminating emails. One of these emails shows that Tony Clement was trying to pass off a new hockey arena and a swimming pool in his riding for a media center to be used during the G8 for just 1 day. The cost for that project alone was $21 million. All of this comes up, and what we hear from the government and from Tony Clement is mostly that this is not what Canadians are interested in. So apparently Canadians should not be interested in huge amounts of cash given away just so that Tony Clement can get re-elected in his riding. There is no talk of resignation. There is no talk of being sorry for these deeds. Hopefully RCMP will investigate this further and this story will not be allowed to die. Just a reminder, Tony Clement is now the person in charge of cutting down on social programs in Canada. Also this week, there was news of Stephen Harper talking to the US media about deep integration with the United States, especially in regards to oil. Apparently this unity in us providing them oil and them buying our oil is of great personal importance to Stephen Harper. He doesn't mention other areas in which there is deep integration, which is beneficial for Canada. And it's important that this choice between free and democratic Canadian oil and apparently unethical oil from all other countries is the main point of the conservative foreign policies. This is why Stephen Harper is prepared to engage in costly and environmentally horribly degrading projects that will not create Canadian jobs but will help the US get more oil. Of course, talk about alternative fuels and going beyond the fossil fuel dependency is completely unknown to the Conservative Party. And the choice has to be only between, for example, Saudi oil and the oil from Alberta. And talking about Canada's foreign policy now, there is a very interesting article on rabble.ca right now from Rick Salutin, in which he talks about the fact that Stephen Harper's foreign policy is basically complete parroting of the US foreign policy, and sometimes parroting this in advance of the US saying anything. And at the same time, Stephen Harper is prepared for frequent colonial bows towards both the US and Britain. As Rick Salutin asks in his article, quote, "Exactly what is the point of being a country if you don't have your own voice?" End of quote. And this is an important question. I really advise you to have a look at this article. Of course, there is a lot of controversy when we discuss issues like this, but I would be very happy to talk with you and hear your opinion as to where Canada is going in regards to its foreign policy. And what is the place of Canada in today's world? So I started this show with a number figure for just one conservative crime bill. That was $458 million a year. And I'd like to leave you with one more number. There's been a lot of talk about the Challenger jets used by minor Conservative Party and government functionaries to go to hockey games and personal vacations and concerts and things like that. So the numbers are in, and the total cost for the Challenger jets as of now is about $33.5 million. Given the number of hours that the jets have flown, that means $12,500 for every hour of flight of these jets. And so think, did we really sign up for this to pay for personal vacations and coffee breaks, galas, and concerts, and other important government business? Did we agree to pay for all this from our own pockets as Canadian taxpayers? And is this the kind of openness, responsibility, and transparency that Stephen Harper and his party have been always campaigning on? I would love to hear what you think about all of these issues and whether all of this is important for you. So please get in touch. I'm easy to find on Facebook, on Twitter, on Blogger, and also through the Leduc Radio website. So please get in touch if you would like to chat. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Artem Medvedev. You're listening to News and Views on Leduc Radio. Have a great day.